Hey, it's the guy who normally does 45-second reviews. Bit of a light month this time around, only 15 first-time watches. As usual, here's my ranking from worst and working my way up. Ash. If Event Horizon and The Thing had a baby and forgot to raise it, this is derivative garbage. Sub-video game level writing, vacant acting, a twist that you'd guess 20 minutes before turning the movie on. Please avoid at all costs. Under Paris. This is typical shark nonsense until the last 10 minutes or so, when I will give this thing credit for completely going off the rails in a way that I did not foresee. Rebel Moon Part 2, The Curse of Forgiveness. Probably worse than the first. It does have slow motion harvesting, if that's your thing. Basically a Monsanto commercial, since the grain gets more of a character arc than anyone else, which is kind of perfect because this whole franchise feels genetically engineered. If. This stumbles around without a plot, alternating between whimsy overload and syrupy sincerity, while the score just plunks away with heartwarming bounciness. Just listen to this. But all you're really left with in the end is a bunch of people and CGI characters wearing suspenders. The Crow, 2024. There's just a few things I want to call out about this. First off, is this not the Severance sound effect? Secondly, so many people in this movie falling backwards into puddles. And finally, while this isn't good, there is one sequence where Bill Skarsgård, who needs to talk to his agent about being in a movie where he isn't just force of nature smash, realizes there is no need for subtlety when you're a bullet sponge, and you can just straight up walk up to people and murder them. I'd love to show clips, but go seek it out for yourself. Sasquatch Sunset. Would have worked better as a short film, but serves as a decent one-time watch. Not much more to say about it. Baby Girl. Well made, and Kidman goes for it.
We come to this place for magic.
But Harris Dickinson is such a black hole, it's hard to believe she would throw it all away for this guy. Moral of the story is, use your fingers, I guess. By the way, if you thought I hated everything last month, I got some comments to that effect. I'm at least positive on everything that comes after this point. Oh, Canada. I honestly can't remember anything about this except for the vaguely pleasant Phosphorescent soundtrack. That's the name of the artist, Phosphorescent. Remember in Canada used to be an ally? Wolves. So if you're looking for an inoffensive movie with dudes from Ocean's 11 who don't like each other but are forced to team up given the circumstances and somehow get pulled into a scheme involving government officials, and you've already seen The Instigators, then you can watch Wolves. The Delinquents. I've been under the weather this weekend, so instead of going out to see anything new, I actually stayed in and watched 3+ hours of slow Argentinian cinema. And I'm glad I did, but I definitely respect this movie more than I enjoyed it. That said, for a movie about existential malaise, it sure made Argentinian pizza look like the peak of human achievement. Ooh, and hey, look, it's the same color as my shirt. Juror number 2. Perfectly middle of the road, and I don't mean that as too much of an insult. Bonkers premise that milks it for all it's worth, but it feels like it's made for a high school audience. Everything is spelled out in big block letters, and the one-dimensional stereotypical characters make sure their clunky dialogue is repeated multiple times for the people that are on their phones. Now, having said all that, we need middle-brow movies like this, or cinema will die. And it's too bad that Clint Eastwood is older than dirt, because I don't see him getting around to make Juror number 3 or whatever. Novocaine. The tonal whiplash for this movie is pretty intense, but if you don't go in expecting anything other than some silliness where Jack Quaid is charmingly beat to shit for an hour and a half, then you're golden. Mickey 17. Even though it's apparently based on an original book, this is essentially a combination of Bong Joon-ho's other English language movies. People eat slop, capitalism sucks, blizzards are cold, Tilda Swinton is awful, CGI creatures have feelings too. But if it isn't broke, Nickel Boys. While the first-person perspective isn't a game changer, leave stuff like that to Hardcore Henry, it doesn't matter because the amazing cinematography lifts this up. The dreamlike transitions between scenes are expertly done, and this ends up being both effective and impactful. Black Bag. Steven Soderbergh made a throwback thriller with actual twists, sharp dialogue, and zero interest in holding your hand. Everything is on point, and if you want to lean in and pay attention, you're basically guaranteed a good time. I'm not surprised barely anyone went to see it, but I did, so it's my favorite of the month. And that's everything. I realize I didn't watch enough movies this time around, and I will strive for 20 next month because personal growth starts with bad time management.